Look at that. We're live, boys. Welcome, America, on a Monday morning to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin, presented by Offensively Creative and Dinsmore Steel. I'm America's sweetheart. How do I fuck up my own name? Eric Ryan. I own Offensively Creative. That's Rod. He's the PEO god. He owns Dinsmore Steel. We have the thriller from Manila, Robin Valdez. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a very special guest, Arsen Janikyan. Hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Before we get started, many guests tell me that they'll drink with me on the show, but only one has previous to this. But Arsen, listen, this is it's Monday. We're drinking brown booze. Welcome to the show. Thank you. I appreciate it. They say you're supposed to find out what you love and then figure out a way to get paid for it. And I love drinking at home in my basement. And look at this. I'm making money.
Cheers.
You're getting paid for it.
I know. Anything is possible in America. I know we shit on America a lot, but it's still the land of dreams and opportunity.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
Arsen, yeah, absolutely. The first half of the show, generally speaking, we cover the news, and then we talk about you for the last half. So feel free to chime in on these red hot subjects that Robin has. But before we get to that, not sure if you've seen the show, but we like to celebrate here in the United States. Every day is something, a special day to take into consideration. Today is no different. I'm pretty heated about this one. It's National Custodian Day. Let me tell you about the God's work that custodians do. Let me tell you how vile humans are. Have you ever been to a public bathroom? It's disgusting. Have you ever been to a bathroom in somebody's house? Generally clean. So when we go into public, why do we piss and shit on everything?
Can I make an observation?
Yes.
2, 74,000 shares. People are really behind this. And number 2 is, if you really want to experience an experience in a bathroom, head off interstate and hit up a rest stop a gas station bathroom that key is on a rim of a core. It's never been cleaned. Ever.
No. But doesn't that say something about humans? Why are we so vile when other people are going to clean up our shit? In this case, literal shit. They're like, leave it. Somebody, oh my God. Custodians, whatever they get paid is not enough.
It's never enough.
No. Robin, how do you feel about custodians?
Definitely an underappreciated profession.
Way underappreciated. This is what blows my mind. I think I have this theory about doctors should get paid in direct correlation to how gross the body part they deal with. So proctologists should make the most amount of money out of any doctors. Otherwise, what's the draw to being a proctologist? You're just into asses. You have an intrinsic love of asses. Podiatrists,
Exactly.
feet are disgusting, like generally speaking, so they should get paid more. Just like in real life, there's no way an athlete should make what they make. They don't ever deal with another human shit. Custodians should make exponentially more money. I'm glad we all agree on this.
Maybe this is going to sound a bit effeminate for me to say, but I prefer sitting down, like even if I'm peeing, just because like standing peeing is always messy. There's no way to get around it. So,
no, it's not. And then if you're half a decent human being, you got to clean up the fucking piss that you just, you know what I mean? Sitting down. Yeah. And here's the other thing. I don't understand why sitting down is inherently feminine. We sit like I'm sitting right now. I don't understand.
You're very feminine right now.
I'm going to start standing up when I do the show. I'm going to stand when I do everything because that's masculine. Yeah, I'm with you, Robin. Plus, it's more time to stare at your phone in peace, right?
That's true.
Rodney, Arsen, do you guys stand or sit when you go?
I stand. I try to get in and out as quickly as possible.
In your own house as well, or
no. In my house, I leisurely take my time.
Yeah, Arsen, what do you know?
Yeah, very traditional.
Traditionally masculine bathroom going. Oh, see, this is another thing. Yeah, hover. No sitting. You gotta hover. Girls hover, but then I hear that's how do you?
You have to make like an eagle's nest.
Yeah, you're right.
Paper, right?
Yes, an entire roll of toilet paper you have to put down to be safe. Jennifer, stay tuned because we have a homeschooling story later. That's our famous homeschool.
Oh, yes, we do.
She's going to love it. All right. I just think custodians don't get what they deserve in the country. Oh, you know what's especially disgusting is you ever been to a sports stadium? Like, that is the drunks pissing on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is wet. Everything is wet. They're pissing on the sink, in the sink, on the walls. Oh.
I walked in and they were on top of the sink.
It's vile. Human beings are fucking vile. All right. That's enough on urine for Monday morning. But
please.
You want to bring up the story while I drink?
I would love to. There's nothing I want more. Okay, so I know this might be a bit late for some people, but if you haven't yet gotten the iPhone 15, I suggest you wait it out a bit. So there seems to be a widespread problem of overheating. So Apple's trying to do crisis control, and they're like trying to convince everyone that, hey, no, it's not the new metal titanium case. I don't know, man. I'm just not buying it. So they're blaming it on third-party apps like Instagram and Uber.
Oh man.
I just don't understand. We're like 15 generations of iPhones, and now it decides it can't handle apps that like existed for a decade.
Look at this thing on fire. Oh wait, this isn't the iPhone 15. This is the iPhone 7. This thing has been going up in flames for fucking 10 years. I gotta tell you, I've owned an iPhone since it came out. It's never been set on fire.
Was it France or another European country that just banned iPhone 12s because of the amount of radiation it was released?
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
So the thing is cancer, and they're getting themselves set on fire. Well, that's fantastic.
I think I have a 12.
I have a 10.
I have a 7. I actually have a
Stick
7.
to it.
And you know what's odd enough is that Steven Soderbergh shot a movie with all 7s, with all iPhone 7s.
I'm glad you bring that up because the only thing they seem to improve is the camera. But at one point, are we going to be sick of better cameras? How much better can cameras get?
Right.
Comma, we
Wow.
filter the pictures anyway. Why do we need a fucking better camera? I don't understand. This one has
It doesn't
titanium.
make
Do
sense.
you know what the
Actually,
titanium?
I'm going to check. I got to see what I have. You got me worked up now. Hold on.
Yeah, see what you got. Does
I
anyone
gotta
know why
know.
they put titanium
know.
on this fucking thing? Does that
I
mean
don't
anything?
know. I think they wanted to
A
make
14.
it like.
It's
Okay.
a 14, guys. Rest
Okay.
easy.
All right, so you're
Thank
safe.
God.
I think they wanted to make it more like fall proof, but like the
Ah.
overheating problem. Plus, they say they're going to fix it with a software update. I don't. How?
Thank you for acknowledging that. How do you fix a flaming iPhone with the software update? That seems like a hardware issue, doesn't it? I mean, I'm fucking dumb, but
It's a code that says settle down.
calms the phone.
Take it easy.
Do you remember, wasn't the 14 the one that bends? Wasn't there a picture of people putting it in their pocket and it was bent? That seemed to that went away too, right? Was
No,
that
I have a 14. It's not bending.
It never
It's
bent.
not. No. Can you see this? Can you see that? I somehow or another have cracked this camera.
Oh, nice job.
And I actually, now that it's cracked, have a special, really cool filter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Arsen, are you more of an Android guy?
No, I'm Apple. I'm Apple. Yeah, but I don't know if. Well, I mean, of course, all of this is important, but the fact that I think wireless technology, radiation and EMF and all those things haven't been updated since I think the late 80s.
Yeah.
That's another gross thing to kind of throw out there because we don't know what we're using.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? Like I equate it to smokers. When smokers in the 50s grow up to get cancer, they go, we didn't know it was bad for you. You didn't know inhaling black smoke into your lungs 800 times a day was bad for you. Are you stupid? Same way we're like, I didn't know holding a thing that radiates fucking things into my brain was bad for me. We're all going to die. We're all going to die.
Yeah, it pings something like 600 or 800 times a minute for connection.
Yeah, that can't be good. And we hold it next to our fucking brain. Like our brain. It would be one thing if it was against our ass. Yeah.
Well, I use my headphones.
Okay.
Smart.
Totally different. I just,
Maybe we should just go back to smoking cigarettes.
we're all gonna die anyway. Here's the thing too, like hot iPhones. I was trying. My son plays Switch all the time, so I was trying to explain like having a Sega Genesis. The controllers that were wired to a physical console. If you wanted a new game, you had to drive to the store, buy a cartridge, drive it home, put it in the fucking thing. Now you can just download games. It's very light strife. The same way a hot iPhone. If you told 15-year-old me I got to carry this around, it had all the porn in the world, sports scores, I get to text girls and they'll send nudes, and I go, yeah, but it gets hot sometimes. Who gives a fuck? What do we complain about everything? Stop it. A kind of hot iPhone and we're all fucking crying. Ugh.
Yeah. We have
See?
a good.
What I say?
Here's the thing I would say is that hot iPhone could come in handy if you're trying to make some food.
Yeah, what are you trying to fry an egg?
Exactly. Make a fire.
Go outside.
Plenty of uses.
Oh, hot iPhones. I'm for them. I think it's a feature. I think it's a benefit. a little oven in your pocket.
A warming.
Yeah, for a hot pocket.
Agents.
If we could cook a hot pocket, it's good enough for me. All right, what do we get next so we can get to Arsen?
Okay. So this is an article by the BBC. It claims that the U.S. government has shut down about 10 times over the past 4 decades. It's not so much a story; it's more so an opinion. So it says that why is there always a total government shutdown whenever there's a crisis, and it's a uniquely American phenomenon. So they're saying it's the U.S. federal system. It's flawed because it was created to encourage compromise and deliberation, but actually it has an opposite effect. So no parties want to communicate with each other and work together. It's my way or the highway.
Yeah. The story's fascinating.
That sounds right.
I mean, we're so used to government shutdowns, it never occurred to me that other countries don't have government shutdowns. And what a brilliant picture to illustrate the point, because custodial services are one of the first things to get shut down because they're a non-essential federal job. I didn't know it was Jimmy Carter's fault. I didn't know other countries didn't do this dumb shit, but it makes all the sense in the world. They just use us as political pawns for power and money. Oh, the system's broken.
I don't understand. So what happened? They had to agree to turn back on the money printing machine. Is that what's going on? Someone tried to unplug it?
Yeah. This is something we talked about a lot. So that book I said that I bought at Barnes & Noble's called The 90s. And it's about the 90s.
I used to have that phone.
Oh, that phone is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
I miss when the whole 90s
it.
was about see-through things.
Yeah,
You had see-through Macs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the guy in the book offhandedly mentions this dude that he calls it the modern monetary theory. It's some theory by some guy, not him. But he said essentially, when you think about balancing budgets, don't think about it like it's your household budget. He goes, budgets are pretend. Money it doesn't matter. So government just needs to print more money, but keep inflation down. That makes all the sense in the world. This isn't real fucking money. Like, you have the money. $2 trillion deficit. It's there.
So then why is the deficit being tracked? Why is the debt being tracked then?
I don't know.
So
maybe
they could get taxes.
Maybe you have to do it globally. But tell me, if we're just printing more money, who's going to stop us? Like, is there some authority that's going to come in and tell us not to?
Yeah, like, who do we owe? What are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
It seems pretty fake to me.
I feel like if something happened to the United States, right, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like if, like, say we were annihilated, I feel like everyone would just keep going on.
It seems to be a system that only stands up if you believe in the system.
I don't think China would be like, oh my God, we're out of money and food.
Yeah.
They'd just get right back at it.
So he mentioned in his book too, so Clinton balanced the budget and now we're $2 trillion in debt. Does it
We had a surplus with Clinton.
Yeah, right. Does it feel significantly different? Am I getting my surplus check in the mail? Everything, you know what I mean?
You did when W was in. Remember, you got your check?
I was too young. I was a mere boy. They didn't give me shit.
I got my $25, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was minimal.
I guess my overarching point is, if we're the only government that shuts down because of budgetary issues, there seems to be more at play. If every other government in the history of governments has never shut down for this reason, but we've done it 10 times.
No.
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
Common sense.
Well, 10 times since when? Since the Federal Reserve was formed, or
no, 10 times since 1980. It wasn't. See, here's the other thing. It wasn't even a thing until fairly recently. So if you go, it was baked into the system from day one. You go, okay, it's the way it's always worked. But it's not. This was Jimmy Carter's idea. And
if you think about it, right? But think about this, right? I think it's just a political weapon. Here's why I say this, right? I remember that it was like a serious deal, and I'm not taking sides here, but it was a big deal when Bill Clinton was going to get impeached. Remember that?
I do.
Trump got impeached twice, or I don't know if he actually got impeached. I'm not a lawyer, but we had two different things, right? Now they're trying to impeach Biden. I think it's like, you know what? Roll the dice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You were using all the shittiest versions of bipartisan bullshit now.
Right. We've moved on past like threats. Now we're
putting people in jail.
Time.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like end stage capitalism to me.
Remember when they had the Hillary Clinton hearings for like 3 years about her emails? Do you remember that?
And nothing happened.
And but it was just like every day they were talking about her emails, and I'm like, my God, we could have created an email service in the time we've talked about her. Like, who cares?
I think ultimately what's important is that Taylor Swift was at the Jets games last night. I don't know if you know this, but yeah. So Nero's fiddling and Rome is burning.
I think you heard incorrectly. There was a Jets and Chiefs sighting at the Taylor Swift show. You were mistaken.
I don't follow football, but they sold more tickets just because she was there, no? Something like this?
Yes, ticket prices have like tripled. Not only they
so much more.
Here's the other thing about Taylor Swift. And again, I realize I'm 42. I'm not in the demographic. I sort of get why Elvis was a phenomenon. He kind of, invented rock and roll. I know he didn't invent.
He was a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy. The Beatles, sort of, that was brand new. Taylor Swift is just shitty pop music, isn't it? I missing something? Is it Mozart?
She has some pretty good tunes.
Oh Lord.
She does, but isn't it just shitty pop music? It's not new. Like no one goes, all right, well, we'd never heard pop before Taylor Swift, and now everything else is like Taylor Swift. She's just another pop artist, is she not? Like, why are we so obsessed with her collectively? Not me, just America. Does
I think she sticks to a generation.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't think like she invented a genre like Elvis did, but it speaks to our generation. It does. I don't know why. It's just the way it is.
Would you go see a Jets game because Taylor Swift is banging Travis Kelce?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No, I wouldn't. Here's what I would say though about the whole thing is that maybe Taylor could become the quarterback for the Jets.
Anything would be better than Zach
because
Wilson.
If anybody hit her,
oh yeah.
Well, God help them. God help them. They will burn the stadium down. It won't end. It will end badly.
There you go.
Arsen, where is your family from originally? Is it Armenia?
Armenia, yep.
So no government shutdowns over there?
There's worse things happening over there, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what it always comes down to. Like as upset as we all get over here, it could always be exponentially worse, right?
Yeah, the people are going through. There's a region called Artsakh, internationally known as Nagorno-Karabakh. Everybody just pretty much got evacuated, and they're out of fear of being killed.
Oh my God!
So ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, that's way worse than a fake government shutdown. I know it's always perspective, man. That's the other thing. Always perspective.
Americans need to calm down.
Well, here we do.
We love to complain.
We do love to. Well, listen, I just said we're all soft as shit. But at the same time, if you don't hold your government responsible for the bullshit that they pull, then you become. Right. It gets worse. Like, is it like, oh, that love it or leave it bullshit is I always equate it to sports. I love the Patriots, perhaps more than my own family. It doesn't mean when they're fucking 1-3, I don't get mad. Like, you're allowed to criticize the things you love. I can breathe.
Eric finally sees what it's like to be a Jets fan.
Exactly. But they still show up to see Taylor Swift. All right. What else we got?
Yeah, I do hope Genuine is still around. So I know Eric likes to poke at homeschooled people a lot, and well, this story begs to differ. So obviously, I'm gonna take the side of the homeschool kids just to create some controversy.
Okay, good.
So this is about celebrities, and they're refusing to let their kids go to school. Rather, they want to be homeschooled. So they're arguing it's not just because they're elitist, they're following trends. They're just worried that the education systems are flawed and not to their standards. It also gives them the time to like freely spend more time with their kids because they don't have to follow the school schedule.
Famously, so there's a bunch of them. It was Giselle, Mayim Bialik, Angelina Jolie, James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. Like, I don't know why anybody gives a shit about him. But here's my point about homeschool. And Jennifer, I hope you will chime in. I understand that, there's school shootings. Like, I'm not for necessarily the standard American school system. I don't know how to fix it, but it feels maybe a little bit antiquated. But if you're homeschooling your children, they're learning from an amateur. To be a teacher, you need to have a degree, right? You need to be trained in the way to educate children. If your mother is doing it, she's inherently not a professional. Let me ask you this. If it's so great, would you trust a homeschooled pilot? Would you trust a homeschooled heart doctor? Would you trust a homeschooled accountant? No. As a matter of fact, they won't let you fly a plane, perform heart surgery, or do your accounting if you have a homeschool degree. You know why? Because it's not trusted. The government goes, do whatever you want with your kids because not a lot of you are going to do it. But it's illegal to fly a plane unless you've been professionally trained.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
No. Like this chick's whole deal. The reason she's hosting Jeopardy, and she's terrible at it, by the way, is because she has a doctorate in neuroscience from UCLA. If she had a doctorate in neuroscience from 35 Elm Street, no one would give a fuck.
Hold on a second. Are you sure it's not from Trump University?
Even that is more accredited than the average homeschooler. And I'll get off my soapbox in a minute, but I looked up famous homeschooled people. All right. Our friend Taylor Swift appears on here. Tim Tebow.
Can I just say though, with Mozart, there were no schools. Let's be serious.
Thank
people.
you. Anyone who's in black and white, you got to go. There's no buses to school. Alexander Graham Bell. Come on.
Yeah. There wasn't even electricity, right? Didn't he invent the phone?
Abraham Lincoln didn't go to public school. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
All right, Arsen, you got an opinion on this?
Yeah, I do. I'm for public schools or private schools. I'm indifferent. I mean, we chose public schools. I went through the public school system and I turned out fine.
Me too.
But you know what I've seen in the recent years, in the last 5-6 years, is scores keep going down, and so do the standards. So they decrease the standards too, so the system looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, in our school district, scores went down, but they're still meeting standards. But when you look where the standards were 5 years ago, they're lower.
Yeah.
It's too easy. I mean, you spoke about, you commented on qualified individuals teaching the kids, right?
Yeah.
Who are these qualified individuals, and what qualifies them? Who qualifies them? The same standards that have been reduced.
Right.
My
only pushback to that is that there are some standards, whereas in homeschool there's zero standards. And if all things being equal, I will take 1 point over 0 points. You know what I mean?
You know, when it comes to flying planes and becoming a doctor, yeah, I won't be teaching my kids on how to fly planes or become a doctor. Though that gets really technical. But foundational things, when I do a fairly good job with math, history, social science, and all those things, especially when you've got the book to remind you.
Yeah.
And
that's what I always said. If I have the book, I could be the teacher.
Especially when you have to bypass certain pages of the book these days.
That's right. That's right.
That's also a recent issue.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And listen. It's not as if every kid that goes to public school comes out smart and able to deal with people. I just think homeschool kids, not that they're not smart, but there's also just being in life, hanging out with other children your age, playing sports, going to prom, all these things I think prepare you for life in a way that staying in your house all day with nobody but your parents just simply does not.
No, I don't think those kids are prevented from participating in any of those activities, though. I have a very dear friend whose 2 sons have been homeschooled by their mom, and they're doing excellent. They're on top of their charts on all of their tests. They participate in sports, school activities, everything. So there's an entire homeschool community. But also, perhaps each school district is a little bit different, but their school district allows them to participate in sports as well.
Well, listen, I'm not going to stop any. It's like religion. You could argue. No one's going to go, you know what?
Can I just say this? If I have the book, I'm the teacher now.
Well, right? Jennifer, you're proving my point. You're not homeschooling college because at some point, trained in our heads, you can homeschool a kindergartner, but you would never have a homeschool college degree. And why is that? Because we've decided as a society that some standards matter. They just do. They do.
Can I tell you why that is? Because the colleges are like, there's absolutely no way humanly possible we're going to allow any kind of competition. We will not allow it. We have to get all of the money and collect all of the loans.
Well, that's true too. The collegiate system's broken. I think everything's just broken. Isn't everything fundamentally broken?
Clearly. You know what I say when I look at it and I say it is broken? I say to myself, what does it all come back to? Incentives.
The monetary incentive. Yes.
Everything's incentive.
It's crazy. But there's only one incentive. There's just the one incentive.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got 7 minutes left. Listen? What you did these out of order. What's the next one? The strike?
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the strike. So strike? We did have it's a lot worse actually. So we had the writer's strike and the auto strike, was already pretty freaking horrible. But on the bright side, those are non-essential industries. So yes, we need our Netflix. Yes, we need cars. But if all went to shit, we could still read books and ride bikes. This one is kind of impending doom because about 75,000 healthcare workers are going to go on strike.
Oh God.
And they're claiming it's just for 3 days, but dude, a lot can happen in 3 days. Something that continues to confuse me is why are some of the most important jobs in the world, like nursing, teaching, caretaking, criminally underpaid and mistreated?
What a brilliant question. I don't know. But this strike is so beautiful and fucked up in so many ways. These people aren't striking necessarily for themselves. They're striking for the benefit of the patients. But they're going on strike for 3 days, which means babies, the elderly, the sick are all going to suffer. But there needs to be martyrs for this cause. I don't know how we have a for-profit healthcare system, but there never seems to be enough nurses. There never seems to be enough money. A heart attack can cost $500,000. An aspirin can cost $200. But they're always crying sick, poor. I just looked it up. Mass General Hospital. It's in Massachusetts where I live, one of the top 3 hospitals in the nation. The CEO makes $5.38 million a year, but there's not enough money for staffing. I know that's a drop in the thing when it comes to hiring these people, but this is unbelievable.
I got to be honest. I think that might be part due to the dude. Is it a man or a lady?
You know what? I didn't look that up. I know.
Well, here's the thing. Let me add this to it. It might be because of their salary. Just brainstorming here. I'm not an accountant.
It's bad, man. These people work 12 to 14 shifts. The median age of a healthcare provider is 52. 20% are over 65. So they're aged, they're overworked, they're underpaid.
Now, are these nurses, doctors, everyone, or is this just like
these are
who
nurses,
are these people?
Nurses, therapists, technician, the dietary service, and on custodian day, maintenance and janitorial staff.
Did you say 20% of them are over 65?
Or over.
Yeah.
52 median age, 20% over 65. This is a real fucking issue. We pay
this audience of
than
people here
anybody else on the planet, and we can't staff. They're working.
Like nobody in this picture looks young.
What's that?
Right? Nobody in this picture looks young except for maybe that guy, but everyone else looks middle-aged.
That's a great point.
Like, to be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like there's like I see two guys that look relatively young.
Right.
But everyone else seems to be, middle-aged.
Yeah, older and of color. Yeah. If I'm, who knows whether, maybe it's the demographics of the area, but
and they definitely like purple.
They definitely like purple. It's a good color. It's bold. It stands out. Arsen, how do you feel about our healthcare system?
Oh man, the deep conversation.
Where does he start?
I think it goes way beyond this, and I don't know how controversial I want to get.
As controversial as you want to be.
I think it's all designed for profit. It's not healthcare. It's a profit center for insurance companies, for pharmaceuticals. That's all it is. It's just a cash cow system, unfortunately.
1,000%. And to the point, the people that know the system best, again, they're not striking for themselves. They're striking for the betterment of patients. I mean, what does that tell you about these people? They're doing. I mean, I know I said custodians are doing God's work, and they are. These motherfuckers are doing God's work. It's insane.
All right. Shout out if you're a frontliner and you're watching the show. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
We got nothing for you. We can't fix the system, but we're on your side. We are a for-profit healthcare system. How are we fucking it up this bad? Who is profiting? I mean, that's rhetorical. We know who's profiting, but it's disgusting.
Well, technically not the insurance companies, according to them, because every year you have a renewal and the renewal goes up. So obviously, like, for example, you and I have, we've worked with a few companies, and one of them was saying to me a while back that they just couldn't collect enough premium.
Oh, is that the problem? So it's us.
It reminds me of the casinos going out of business.
If Americans would only pay more, we'd have better healthcare. I mean, sorry, guys.
Look at what Patrick Bet-David talked about recently about how certain pills, a lot of pills, the insurance companies charge, or the pharmaceuticals charge, to the insurance companies thousands and thousands of dollars until their patent expires after 30 years and they get sold pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all sucking money away from the system.
Right.
And then you look at profit sharing and not profit sharing, but share of price shares on what it gets traded for, and the billions of dollars that they're profiting from it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you have. We're an entire culture that not only worships money, but we worship the rich, because we have this delusion that someday we'll be in the top percent, and we don't want to be taxed at 90%. So we allow this. Like we have Stockholm syndrome. We have a collective Stockholm syndrome. We would rather die than fix a broken system purely for our love of American currency. It's disgusting. Anyway, what do you get next?
I think a lot of times, though, in all fairness, right? And I will say this: I'm not obviously not a billionaire, but I think a lot of times people attack, like Elon, and I'm not singling out people, but they'll attack them. It's not necessarily them; it's the companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right. Like the companies has hordes of lawyers who literally sit around all day trying to figure out how not to pay taxes, and accountants, and you know what I mean.
I agree.
It's a big, amorphous, difficult to understand thing.
It's craziness.
We'll never get to the bottom of it. But
usually the fish is rotted from the head, though.
What's that?
The fish is usually rotted from the head.
Oh, that's true.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Usually.
But he's just doing his duty. He's just saying, I got to keep the company afloat, guys. I don't want to pay anything.
Yeah, that's all. That's all it is. All right, let's blast past this next one because we have some.
Yeah. Okay. So the last story is I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's this dental plan advertisement featuring Tom Hanks. It went kind of viral. I couldn't find it anywhere actually, so maybe they took it down. But
I couldn't find it either.
Yeah, so I think Tom Hanks got really upset and they had to take it down or something. But he was saying that it's not him, and they actually used a deep fake for this, but it really did look like him. So this is worrisome to some degree because, like in the future, they're saying people are gonna make deep fakes of people saying regrettable stuff and use it as fake evidence. But there is an upside to this, is that maybe, and Tom Hanks also pointed this out, we'll still be able to have him on the screen after he passes away. So he's still going to be immortalized.
He looks pretty good here in the AI version. Who's this fellow on the left?
I was going to say Tom Hanks has not aged well. Like he's hard to look. AI Tom Hanks is much more attractive.
Yeah. Have you seen Meg Ryan?
Oh,
they should get together and do You've Got Mail.
No
remake.
I don't want to. As long as they use the AI versions of them, because goddamn,
You've got
our
voice now.
childhood heroes look like shit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Robin, you couldn't find this. This is a what? Like, here's the thing: if Tom Hanks wants something off the internet, that shit gets off the internet. Because I could not find a single video of this fake thing. My thing is like, do we want Tom Hanks starring in movies in 100 years? Can't we come up with new stars? So we're recycling plots. We're making movies of fucking remakes after remakes, and now we're gonna start reusing stars. Can we have an original idea? Can we get some new talent? For Christ's sakes.
I think they have to start doing mashups. Like I was thinking the other day, like what if they did X-Men and Fast and the Furious 26?
Oh, there you go.
Right?
You're gonna have to do remixes.
Yeah,
that's our only hope. The AI thing is it's weird. Someday we're gonna be able to do our show without ever doing our show, which is nice though.
Yeah, and hey, if our show gets canceled, we'll just claim that we were deep fake.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, it was
Tom Hanks playing games.
It was sepia tone Robin. It wasn't real
Tom Hanks. Tomcat Hanks.
That's right. All right. I don't think we have any strong opinions on this, but I don't know. All right, Arsen, it's ready to talk about you. You've done me a huge favor because normally I do a deep dive, and I did do a deep dive, but I have to piece together someone's story from multiple angles. But you did sort of a promo of your own story. Do you mind if I play it?
Sure, go for it.
Here we go.
Operations management has always been a way of life for me. Growing up, my grandfather was a blacksmith. The man would make anything out of iron. My dad was a shoemaker. He immigrated to America and manufactured shoes as an entrepreneur. He taught me how to work with my hands and that the details matter. My industry is third-party logistics, fulfillment, and distribution for direct-to-consumer brands. In any industry, operations is an essential department. It's imperative that the operations, which is the end, is as strong as your sales, which is the beginning. Not all, but most third-party logistics do 20% of the work to accomplish 80% of the results, but they leave the last 20% of the results on the table, which requires 80% of the work. Everybody gets pushed through the same pipeline where brands typically look to create their own pipeline of success. I'm Arsen Janikyan, and I created Ops Engine. Ops Engine is set up to be the operations department for your brand. I wanted to create an unusually dynamic experience that adapted to each brand's needs. Where Ops Engine has experience is going above 3, 4, 5,000 SKUs. Pick, pack, and ship doesn't seem that complicated, but at scale, it's very complicated where every second counts. Through a robust tech-forward approach that seamlessly integrates with e-commerce applications, we treat your brand like our brand because your success is our success. We've navigated economic uncertainties, and we understand the value of creating effective business strategy while remaining nimble. We thoroughly enjoy solving complex problems, and each organization brings its own challenges, and solving these challenges are fun for me. It's truly in my nature to solve problems. When I look to build the future, I humbly look at my family's legacy of the past, because great things are always made with details in mind. I'm Arsen Janikyan, and this is Ops Engine.
Oh God,
Wow,
damn,
incredible.
that's good, man.
That's incredible. You should get an award, man. That was incredible. I love it. I love it.
Credits to the guy who shot it, actually.
Well, that man is a genius. He should do the next
he's-
Tom Hanks movie. I hear it's available on AI, so he can do it.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
So your grandfather was a blacksmith. That's fascinating.
My great grandfather as well.
Oh my God! So you come from a line that is hard work.
Both
Melting
my grandfathers from my mom's side and that side, yeah. But I couldn't get into too many details because it would have been a 10-minute short film at that point.
So what did they make predominantly? Do you know? Like,
I know more about my grandfather. He's worked from the presidential house all the way to private homes, and back in late 40s, 50s, he would make a lot of those. I don't know what they're called in English, but the heaters you would stick wood in to warm up your home.
Yeah, like a cast iron stove.
Yeah.
That is mainly work.
Old-fashioned fireplace, I guess. Yeah, Robin. The old-fashioned fireplaces, the exhaust going out the roof, and the fireplace is like sitting in the middle of the room, and
like a wood-burning stove. At my old house, I had those. Like, goddamn, working with melting steel all day. That's a manly job. That is a manly fucking job. It's no sitting in a basement drinking bourbon, but it's
and it's extremely hot. They have a blacksmith in Greenport, and we go to see him sometimes. And after like 10 minutes in there, I'm like, we gotta get out of here. I'm gonna pass out.
It's bad for my hair.
And he's making little things. He's not making it. He's making like.
Oh, can you imagine making wood burning stoves? Holy shit.
No, it's yeah.
And then your father was a cobbler, a shoemaker.
Shoemaker, yeah. So he started off his working career as a blacksmith as well. My grandfather took him under his arms, but after he served in the Armenian military for a couple of years, came back, fell in love with shoemaking. Shadowed someone for a couple of weeks, and he's still at it. He still does it.
Here or over there?
Yeah, no, here. Yeah,
here.
We migrated to the U.S. November of '91, and for a couple of months he was just kind of doing whatever, a little bit of jewelry, craft work, and but he went back to his roots with barely any English. Rented a 500 square foot. I guess you can call it a warehouse, a facility with his brother, partners in the business. And they went door to door saying, I make shoes. And that was the extent of their English until they got a few customers in. They know the craft. They don't know the language at that point, but they made it,
Wow. The fucking balls it takes to move to another country, not speak the language, and go into business for yourself is goddamn incredible, isn't it?
It's audacity. That's what Ian said last week. No, it's true though.
You have to have wild audacity.
Eric, you're talking about house prices being relative. I mean, everything being relative. Come to a country where you're not making a penny, you're negative every month. But again, of course, it was hard given the circumstances. Not knowing the system, not knowing your environment, nothing, right? But at the same time, at least at the time, they didn't have all of the financial burdens a typical family has today. There was no cable, there was no cell phone, there was no insurance, there's no
soccer. You know how much soccer costs? It's unbelievable. I don't want to belabor the shoe point too much, but I'm just curious, like, what kind of shoes are they? They're dress shoes or like
women's dress shoes. So they've done work for Nordstrom, Nine West. Unfortunately, sample sizes, which happen to be in the hundreds of pairs, not one or two samples, but these samples would eventually get sent to China or other competing countries for mass production.
Right.
But they started off their shoe career here in the U.S. making exotic dancer shoes. I knew you would get it. That's why I mentioned it.
Eric too well.
Yeah, so wait a second. They invented clear heels. Holy shit, that's amazing.
So they didn't necessarily invent it, but when they started, there were 3 or 4 styles in the entire industry. And I remember this because I was in the business. I mean, While most kids, had their summers, I had mine at the business at the shoe shop. I absolutely loved it.
At the stripper shoe, I would love working at a stripper shoe shop too. I think any red-blooded American boy or immigrant would love working at the stripper store. Wow, that is amazing. You know what it was? Is they probably for all of our like being progressive, we're a very Puritan country, so it makes sense that people would come over here and be like, they should get out of these fucking stupid shoes they're wearing and wear these, and they were all exotic and from a foreign land. That makes all the sense in the world. This is what a story. Holy shit.
They really, I would say, they really were the pioneers of like completely expanding selection in the industry.
Can I just say thank you to your family? Because not that I have
They're doing the Lord's work.
They're doing God's work. Custodians, healthcare workers, and the people that make stripper shoes. So your family went from making wood-burning stoves to exotic dancer shoes.
That's quite the jump.
Whatever pays the bills, man.
Whatever pays the bill.
But no, they quickly got known as a go-to shoe manufacturer in the country. And designers were going to them. But again, unfortunately, the cost of manufacturing shoes in the US is significantly higher.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So what they would wholesale here was the retail cost of shoes being imported from China. So, at one point, their business just took a nosedive. And
wow. Okay. All right. So I'm painting a picture here. You got great grandfather, grandfather. They're blacksmiths. Your father's making exotic shoes, and you go into 3PL. That's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see too much of a shoe career unless I don't know, became a designer or whatnot. But I actually started off my working career, not including supporting their business, in the banking industry. Yeah, I was in banking for almost 7 years. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because of the details and the operations side, but I honestly quickly found myself a little bored. I knew I can do more. I'm a really fast-paced kind of a individual, and I love problem solving. While I enjoyed the suit all day, I decided to switch gears. Got into aerospace. I started the aerospace career out of NASA JPL.
I saw that you worked at NASA. Not bad.
Yeah, that was interesting. The science and the engineering side, obviously top notch, right? There's no argument there. Unfortunately, the business side wasn't for me. Really slow paced as well. Kind of stuck a couple of decades back, to the extent of offering someone to write an Excel formula and they get offended. You tell them they don't know how to do their job. We're just copying and pasting all day. So I really progressed in the aerospace industry. Through the 4 companies I switched, I only applied for one, and JPL NASA was that first one, and then everything else was recruitment. Grateful for that, but especially the last company I worked for, Parker Aerospace, I made some great moves there. But it was one of those moments where I had to make a decision. Do I move my family out of state to quickly climb the ladder because I wanted to grow? There were plenty of opportunities. I was being recruited from within the company and other companies. Or do I change gears and work in the e-commerce sector? I applied to Amazon and I applied to Buck Mason. It was really just to kind of see what it offers. Yeah. I had not made the decision. Just wanted to see what it offers. I was about to finish my MBA degree from UNC Chapel Hill. I applied to Amazon. My interview was at Amazon on Wednesday, and then the following day was Buck Mason, back-to-back interviews. Got an offer from both, and I decided to take Buck Mason.
You went with the underdog.
I went with the underdog. So at Amazon, I was it was a role. Being groomed for more of a GM role. Yeah. Eventually, in a year and a half, that individual was getting ready for a promotion. But at Buck Mason, I was 1 out of 20 or 25. They had 2 stores, about $4 to $5 million annual run rate. decided to join Buck Mason because I wanted to be in a creator role. I wanted to be in a role where it actually made a difference in the company, and especially that's something that was almost not. Obviously, the guys had a great foundation from the product perspective, but from an operational perspective, it needed to be built ground up. So I said, "This is home for me. Let's do it."
All right. Before you go on, take a quick pause in your story because I want to pull up so Jennifer has a question. She owns a little boutique. So she wants to know if the sample shoe was made here, sold to retailers, and then created in China for a more affordable cost. Is that the way it goes?
No, we don't do production in China. The larger retailers have production in China, so they're the ones who end up proving their concept here, and then they go to China with the samples to manufacture, mass produce there, because China doesn't want to do 500, 800 pairs. They want to do 15, 20,000 pairs.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Too big for small orders. And she has one other question for a friend. What are the chances of a homeschooler getting a job at NASA? And keep in mind, Jennifer loves homeschooling.
Jennifer, very high.
I think you two are conspiring against me, but
Hopes are up.
Yeah, hopes are up. Okay, so Buck Mason, we're at Buck Mason now.
Yeah, we're at Buck Mason. Fast forward 5.5 years. I've opened 20 around 25 stores for the company. Grew the warehouse out of a 500 square feet office, 8-foot ceilings to 55,000 square feet distribution center. It's actually what you saw in the video. I used that warehouse as part of my video because it's a direct correlation to what my work is.
It looks really good, though. That was a good creative choice.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, and then end of last year, I was thinking about what's that correct term? Epiphany. I had this epiphany of what's next for me? What's the bigger challenge for me? And what do I do that's still within my profession, and I can pass the knowledge and the expertise onto many brands and onto many operators. Because I've been an operator my whole life. Every company I've worked for, I've been on the operation side. So that's when I kind of brainstormed and came across the 3PL industry, which wasn't new to me in terms of the qualitative and the quantitative work. Not new to me at all. It's just an extension to Buck Mason's experience, essentially. I treated Buck Mason as a customer, looking at from that perspective. Now I'm onboarding more customers, right? So the 3PL has a very tainted reputation of 3PLs not treating brands like they are their own. So I said, you know what, I'm going to change that.
Was Buck Mason on Shark Tank?
Yep. Buck Mason on Shark Tank.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like a real brand. It's like this is like a real, like I have a ton of their stuff in my closet.
So who invested in on Shark Tank? Who was it? Was it Mr. Wonderful? Do we know? Was it
no, they actually didn't take a deal. They had what the dollar amount they were asking for I think 20%, but they wanted at 10%, and they didn't take the deal.
Interesting. So listen, not everyone's a genius like the three of us. So for our listening audience, you want to explain what 3PL is? I mean, sure. I know. I do. It's third-party logistics. I could go into that. Listen, I'm deep into this.
So third-party logistics has a ton of different sectors, though. The one I'm in is fulfillment and logistics. So super high level said, I'll start at a 30, 40,000 feet level, and then we'll come back down. We take the inventory of brands. We manage that inventory, pick, pack, and ship their orders direct to consumers, meaning individual e-commerce orders, and business to business. Could be to boutiques and can be to larger retailers that require certain technologies and certain workflows, standard operating procedures, and so on and so forth. The difference between Ops Engine, which is strategically named Ops and Operations Engine for brands, 3 words really describes Ops Engine: your operations department. So the entire concept is you won't need a VP of operations or a director of logistics to manage what we do, because we are extremely proactive in our data analysis, our communication, our weekly, monthly, and quarterly QBRs reviewing data with brands. And because of our really strong e-commerce background, we'll proactively go to them and say what the whole customer operational journey can be improved on. A lot of brands focus highly on their marketing and their product storytelling, but they don't focus too much on the operations piece. That's where we come in.
Yeah.
They start the customer journey extremely strong, but they don't end it as strong as they started, which is equally important. And tons of details go into ensuring that the journey closes at the end as strong as it started.
I didn't know what a 3PL was until I worked at a place and we were doing all the fulfillment, and then we hired a 3PL to do it. And I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. So then I've been obsessed with the idea because I love it, because all I want to do is the marketing and the branding. I don't want to do any of the stuff that you do.
No, do any of the work.
It's complicated. I don't want to do the work.
At scale, at scale, it's absolutely complicated. I have a book that I'm working on, although I probably won't release it until I'm older and with white hair.
Give it time.
It's called hope nobody steals the title, Operations Not for the Faint of Heart.
Got it. That's mine now.
Speak to you guys, but it really isn't for the faint of heart because of a ton of unknowns that get uncovered with scale.
Yeah. So I was thinking, can I run it? I have some questions, unless anybody else does.
I have one question.
Go ahead. You go first.
I just have one. So obviously you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. I want to see what you think about this. He said, and I may butcher this, but he said a while back, give everything away. Hold on. Give everything away that's not scalable for free and sell what's scalable.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
What do you think?
I think it depends on the industry.
Well, definitely. I mean, I'm sorry, let me preface it. I mean, like in our industry, not where you're like selling things. Like Buck Mason can't do that, right? They've got a business, but like in our business.
So in my business as well, Rodney, I don't mind sharing knowledge. I mean, when I was looking for a warehouse management system, all these WMSs ended up picking my brain because I've built a WMS system with the co-founder and CTO of Buck Mason from scratch. So I have certain knowledge that they don't, but I didn't mind giving away that information because I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's creativity. It's not neurosurgery. So at one point or another, somebody would figure it out, right? But through giving away knowledge, you create alliances, you create friends, and then, especially in the logistics business and the supply chain industry, it's a immense amount of collaboration. It's not me, myself, I, and my shadow. It's a very collective group of people supporting each other, utilizing each other's warehouses, each other's information, knowledge. I may not be strong, for example, I may not be strong on freight. You might be strong on freight, but I'm very strong on direct-to-consumer e-com, and you're not. So we support each other. And it's a very, very highly collaborative industry. And to date, as long as I've been in it, I have not had a situation where I called someone or I ping someone on LinkedIn or vice versa, and we don't support each other.
All right. So I have this idea for an e-commerce store, and I can't figure out how to get it off the ground because I think it's complicated, but it would involve a 3PL. So you know how wedding cakes, huge industry, right? They're $600, blah, blah, blah. Well, half of marriages end in divorce, but there's no divorce pastry. Wedding pastry, cake, there's no divorce pastry. I was thinking about divorce pies. So what do you send a friend that got divorced? You don't know. What do you say? I'm so sorry, whatever. I think what a friend needs when they get a divorce is a nice pie. But I think divorce pies would be funny, especially if you could like do icing on it. It was like, fuck that guy. He had a small dick anyway, whatever. Like add some levity to a sad situation.
I don't think you can ship pies though because of the ingredients.
Here we are.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
This is where the 3PL comes into place. I have found places that sell frozen pies, but then as a 3PL, they would have to have a freezer. I would maybe need them to pipe some icing on. I also want to do cards, like funny cards, like, again, fuck him, whatever it says. I assume the girls are going to send these to each other. And then maybe this is where it gets darker. like a pie and a vibrator would add some levity to a situation, right? I think it would kill, but I don't know how you handle this from a 3PL situation. Would I have to go to a food manufacturing PPL? Like, how would I start this?
Yeah, you definitely have to work with one that manages frozen foods.
Yeah. Okay. So that's right off the bat. That's exactly what I have to do, right?
Yeah.
Are there ones that do that? Is that a stupid question? Is that real?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would they be okay with pick, pack, and shipping, like if it was a vibrator, or for a guy like a blow up doll? And I don't want to bring this conversation too down, but I do think it's a funny concept, and I think people would talk about it, because what do you do for a friend that got a divorce? You want to make him a little chuckle, you know?
I'm sure one doesn't come to mind off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are 3PLs who have a frozen food section and dry goods that can carry the products.
Dry goods.
That can marry the products together before they ship it. But yeah, that is a very funny idea.
You should take that idea to Shark Tank.
But
dry goods.
I don't know.
Like, well, what do you have in mind for dry goods? And be like,
does anybody want to get reminded that they're divorced to get something in the mail?
Well, listen. I think it's a concept. Like the first year is going to suck, right? The first year is going to suck. So you might as well add some levity to the situation. You know?
Yeah.
With the wedding, you get literal a shower. They shower you with gifts. You get presents at the wedding. You get the cake. It's a big celebration. Then nothing afterwards. I think the least we can do is give them a pie.
I think in the end, Eric, the real payoff for the divorce is the freedom.
I think the freedom and the pie.
Well, it could be the pie as well, but I think it's the freedom.
You can do like joint custody custard. You know what I mean? Like you can play with flavors.
You've been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Alimony apple strudel. Alimony apple strudel. Come on, that's good. That's good. Anyway, Arsen, we got a few minutes left, but what's the goofiest stuff that you've sent in a 3PL? Because I'm sure there's some wacky ideas that people put, right? I mean, it's got to be like normal stuff, Buck Mason t-shirts, but then there's got to be weird stuff too, right?
I haven't come across a weird customer yet.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Seems like fertile ground.
I have a question. I saw this thing a while back, and I don't know if this is something that a 3PL would do, but I saw this thing a while back where you could literally, it was funny to me, you could send someone, it's like a tube, and then when they open it, it blows up, or it doesn't blow up, but it like pops out or somehow emits a ton of glitter.
Oh, they had those glitter bombs.
Yeah, glitter bombs. That's what it is. And I was thinking, man, that's who's packing that stuff? Because I don't work that much with glitter, but I remember glitter is a pain in the ass.
I'm sure that's
a pain in the ass.
I definitely wouldn't want one of those to go off in my facility.
No,
that would be a pain in the ass. Then, hold on. No, there you go. If your first beer, you're talking about this.
You just met your first customer.
Can I even send frozen pies though? Like,
yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, I get my meat once every 2 months from Butcher Box.
Maybe we team with Butcher Box.
Here's another question while we're all here. Would it be possible? This is crazy, but would it be possible to use a 3PL to make pickleball paddles?
Well, not to make them, but to send them.
Well, who can make them?
But to distribute them. Yeah. If you need kitting, like 3 or 4 different items going to the box to go to your end consumer, then yeah, but not to actually manufacture them.
I got to find a manufacturer then.
Yeah. So if you manufactured a bunch of paddles and balls, he could pick, pack, and ship them. And right next to my pies. All right, we have 2 minutes left. This is the website. Do you want to promote?
Nice.
If anybody, tell us if we want to get in touch, if we want to ship some stuff. What do we do?
Yeah, reach out to us. The contact forms there on the top right corner. Happy to set up a time to dedicate it to your needs and discuss a bespoke solution. The website is really intended to not just promote our services, but also to educate. So if you go to Ops Journal, we already have about 20 articles there. If you go to resources, we've got a couple of very useful tools we've been complimented on by many. So it's a helpful resource. opsengine.co.
Yeah, and you're really
Very
interested in this subject. I read some of your articles. Like you're into Kaiban. Remember that guy we had on? He's the Japanese getting better every day thing, and Kanban. So you're like 3PL is your life. You're really into it, and it shows with your stuff.
operations is my way of life, and through self-education more than the degrees and even higher education. Jennifer, keep homeschooling. I've really become what I call my direct reports operational ninjas, with strong operational rigor, the Toyota way of doing things, lean principles, operations and leadership principles, Peter Drucker's way of data analysis. Elon Musk is another person that I look up to on the manufacturing side, and manufacturing really plays a huge role in operations and fulfillment. So.
And just to be clear, you only drink in the mornings on Mondays, right? That's normal days here.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, we do have to log off. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you for being here, Arsen. And don't log off yet. Stay in the green room for 2 seconds. A lot of guests. As soon as I shut down, they leave. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.